Alright guys, we've got more suspension upgrades. We'll show you what we got. This is their drag springs. This is not the brand that I wanted, but this is all they had in stock. I wanted the high horse performance drag springs, their version, or the Carlisle's, but HHP didn't have any in stock and it was back ordered for a month, and the iBox are the only ones that they had in stock, so I went ahead and got these. And hopefully they do alright. Well, we'll find out. I haven't seen really hardly any reviews on these. I guess because they're new to the market for the Dodge platform. They're drag launch springs. But we'll try them out and see how they do. I'm hoping they do okay. But as far as the other drag springs go, everybody claims at least a 10th, around a 10th on their 60 foot and stuff and their ET. So we'll see what these do. We'll get these put on. These are the rears side by side. These are my old ones. Now I did cut one coil off of my old ones, and it lowered it about 1.25 inches. And you can see, stacked side by side, that these are pretty close to the same length. So I'm hoping it sets close to the same. I mean, it might come up just a little. Try to hold it here. There's not much. I mean, they're almost identical height wise. So, alright, gonna take this side apart. The axle nut, you gotta take the axle nut off. It's an 1.25 inch socket. Take your brake caliper off, let it hang. Take this bolt out, this bolt, and your bottom on your spindle side, that trailing arm. Take your 2 shock bolts out. Take your sway bar link bolt out, and you should be able to get it out. I already done the other side, so we're going to do this one. .5/8 for your upper shock bolts. Your 18mm socket and a 18mm wrench. Take this front trailing arm off. I have to go in behind it with a swivel or an extension and just run it out after you get the nut off of it like this. Now take a 5/8 socket and a 15mm. Take your lower bolt off on your sway bar link. Do the same on it, run it out. Take your upper control arm, bolt out. Now this is the aftermarket bolt, comes with the BMR. This is a 16mm on this side. Your stock one will be an 18. your hammer and push against it while you run it out. Then take caliper bolts loose. This nut on this side's a 18 on your slide. It off, just let it hang there. Take your main bottom bolt, the 18 also. All the bolts. Then take, make sure your axle's not back a little bit, not stuck. Take a pry bar, stick it under the control arm. Pull the spring out. In, slide it in the groove, lock in place like so, and right down. Right there. Then you got to put you a jack under this lower control arm to jack it up, to hook everything back up. Just go in reverse order, going back together. Put this one in, nut on it. Now I did put a little bit of blue Loctite, just a small dab on these nuts on the control arms. That's just my personal preference. I like to do that, especially on a high-powered car. I'm going to go back to torque them to BMR spec, which is 83 foot-pounds on these. Put the other bolt in. Swivel. And in, put the nut on it. in, bottom on. The bottom is a little tricky because at this aftermarket BMR arm has these two washers that goes on the inside like that. So get them started. I take a hammer and tap them in place. Take you a jack stand, put it here, or have it on the other end. I'm gonna do it here because you got to release this jack in order to push it in a little bit to get the bolt to go through. I take a screwdriver, work it in there, pull it in. Nut on that, tighten it up. Tape and let's see, put your sway bar back on, bone in, jack it up just a little bit. Put your axle nut back on. The two shock bolts back up on top. Get it started. Take stock and swivel. That's all for the back. That's how you do the back. We'll jump on the front and get it done. We'll put some, I'll re-grease these and go over these bolts with a torque wrench. But that's all for the back. Alright guys, we're going to do the front. I already done the other side on the front. I'm just going to do this one to demonstrate. Got your 3 bolts for your strut on top, 13mm. Set those to the side. Okay. This bolt right here is an 18 also, and the one on your sway bar link, on the sway bar links I got on this, it's a 7/8. So, let's see. Trying to hold the camera and do this one hand here, so bear with me. Usually you got to smack it with a hammer, but it fell right apart for me. Just pop your ABS line out of that one bracket there so it has a little bit of slack. Then you're going to take your 7/8, take this bolt out. I mean not 7/8 but 18. That one out. Then 7/8 on this one. Then there's like a jam nut on it, but these are aftermarket sway bar links. I've replaced them, so get a wrench. Alright, got that loose. Strut's loose. Just gonna see if I can set you up here somewhere. Just gonna push down on the spindle and angle the strut out like so. Alright, here's the front. Again, they look to be close to the same height wise, but that doesn't mean nothing. Spring tension is definitely going to be different. But just to compare height, now I did cut one coil off my stock ones again, so compared to one coil cut off of a stock one, they are pretty much the same height. Got you on these spring compressors. I already tightened them up. And this nut right here on these struts is a 3/4. So just kindly point it away from you when you're taking these nuts off, even though you got the compressor on there. pull it apart, loosen these back up, and we're going to put the other one. Small end goes on the strut, big end goes towards the top. Kind of line your holes up, your studs up. Your two studs go like this. Sometimes after you get them together, you can turn them a little bit if you need to. Tighten it up just a little bit more. We'll have to turn the top of it just a little bit. Try to do it without pulling it all back off of there. Do it this way. Do it the easier way. You get it in the top, get your nuts on it, just tight, twist the bottom, like so. up, put your big bolt in it. It up. Put your spindle up there to get a pry bar. Sometimes you can push it down and just slide out of the way. There, under a spring. That on it. Find a swivel. Hang that socket over. That, put your sway bar link back on. Intake. Put your top nuts on. Tighten them up. That's it. Slide your ABS wire back in the bracket. There's the front. Alright, here's the before picture. And here's the after picture. I'm hoping it settles a little bit more, but we'll see. I didn't get to drive it very much, not even a mile, because it started raining, but we'll see, and hopefully get to the track next week or this week, see what we can do. Alright guys, that's it for the install. It looks like it raised it up a little bit. I'll put a before and after picture in there. But this is all for now. Like, share, and subscribe.